Welcome to part 2 Gynecological sonographic anatomy. As we studied in part 1, we looked at basic nomenclatures or indications as to how to scan pelvic ultrasound in a reproductive patient. So we are going to look at part 2 of this lesson. So subscribe to my channel and click on like to like more of my videos. So this is a uterus that is showing the blood vessels from the aorta, and you can see a non-pregnant and a pregnant womb or myometrium. You can see the blood vessels running through the myometrium into the endometrium, and the one with a pregnant myometrium is having so many blood vessels and it's full of blood. The lacunae is dilated. You can see a lot of blood vessels, blood oozing into the myometrium to support the growing baby, and this is going to be kept in developing placenta, through which the umbilical cord vessels are connected to make the baby grow better. And looking at a non-pregnant womb, the lacunae of the blood vessels are not dilated as compared to the pregnant womb. So this is a typical example of the blood vessels, normal and abnormal blood vessels. So all these ones are normal phenomenon. So look at the endometrium, the myometrium, the uterine artery, and the vein. Same applies to this. So with the pregnancy, you see the decidual reaction and the placenta. Then let's move to non-gravid and gravid uterus. A non-gravid uterus means a uterus that has not gotten pregnant before. You can see the normal myometrium with its blood vessels connected to the endometrium, and with a pregnant womb or womb that has carried a baby before, or that is pregnant fresh, showing multiple blood vessels feeding the placenta villi. So you can see the decidual reaction in the placenta villi, in which the intervillous spaces are located. So this are normal phenomenon. So you can see the arteries and the vein shunt. So let's look at the severe preeclampsia and immediate postpartum. So here postpartum is talking about a retained placenta after delivery. So with this one, you see a lot of blood oozing out from the placenta. So you can see this is a normal endometrium, and this is high blood pressure due to that the placenta is more dense with blood. So the next is we are going to look at sonographic view of all that we are talking about here. So this is a uterus showing high velocity of blood flow. It is highly vascularized. So you can see the endometrium, normal endometrium. This is the functional layer and the basal layer. So let's indicate it by drawing. So this is the myometrium here. So you can see this is the aqueous artery with the spiral artery and the arteries running through the myometrium. So this is a normal phenomenon. This is the endometrium. So you can see the anterior myometrium. This is transvaginal ultrasound. This is also transvaginal image. So you can see this here also showing blood flow in the myometrium. So this showing normal arteriovenous flow in the myometrium, color Doppler, showing flow of blood in the aqueous, spiral, basal, radar, straight arteries. So this is the anatomy of the ovary, and sonographic images of ovaries are not clear as this. This is a rare anatomy of the ovary with the cross section showing the primary follicle to a mature follicle. Now, the primary or premodal follicles start developing just after last menstrual period, just after one menstruates. So you can see the premodal follicles here, which are found at the cortex and also in the medulla of the ovary. You also have germinal epithelium, that's the outer border of the ovary, and the tunica vagina is just the next to the epithelium. These are the capsules or the protective layers that are protecting the ovary from any injury or from a rupture. So the next is the secondary follicle or the degenerative corpus luteum. So these are the primary follicle, which are mostly found at the cortex. So from there you go to the secondary follicle, then continues to the vesicular or the Graafian follicle. So the Graafian follicle is the dominant follicle. That follicle becomes bigger than other associated follicles, and that is what ruptures on the 14th day. So you can see the release of an ovum. At that period, the egg is released from that Graafian follicle or the mature follicle, and on the 14th day, so the ovum is released. That's what we call it ovulation. So you can see the architecture of the ovum. You have the coronal radiator and so on and so forth there. So during this period, the endometrium becomes very thickened, full of blood. That's the gland. The endometrial gland, it becomes more dense, more engorged with blood. So as you can see from the ligament of the ovary running through the middle part of the ovary, which is the stroma, with the blood vessels spreading to the ovary. So this fills the ovary with a lot of blood. So on color Doppler, you see high vascularization of blood. So on the 14th day, the egg is released. Now you have the developing corpus luteum. So after the egg is released, the progesterone level is very high. That is when the corpus luteum is developed. So the corpus luteum produces a lot of progesterone. That is released into the bloodstream. So when it is released into the bloodstream, then the HCG becomes very high when there's a pregnancy. So the pregnancy hormone, which is the human chorionic gonadotropin, is released into the bloodstream. That indicates that one is pregnant or not. And when there's no pregnancy, the corpus luteum shrinks and becomes corpus albicans. So this is the corpus albicans here, and that is what remains after menstruation. So the next is the sonographic views of all that we talk about in this image. So these are ultrasound images of the mature follicle, the corpus luteum, and a ruptured follicle, Graafian follicle. So the first image here, you can see mature follicle. This a more dominant follicle here. This ovary, the egg is released, producing corpus luteum. So you can see this is the internal echoes of a corpus luteum. as after the egg has been released. So the corpus junctions are typically gynaecological, usually less than 3 centimeters in diameter, and it usually thick wall with prominent peripheral blood flow. A ring of fire on Doppler, and the cyst may be granulated or contain low-level internal echoes. So the next is other images of the ovary. So you can see this is a well-defined dominant follicle, and these are other follicles showing here. Now this other follicles showing at the cortex. So this also showing here the same thing showing here. So this is what contains the ovum that is released on the 14th day. Okay, so that is, so normally this impinges on the tunica albuginea, and also later also affects the last outer layer, which is the germinal epithelium. Same, you can see the ovaries in the medulla. The ovaries in the medulla here. In the medulla. So these are at the cortex. These follicles are seen at the cortex. Yeah. Then we are going to also look at some measurements that we need. Normal variables that we need in sonography. So in the menstruating woman, ovaries normally measure approximately 2 by 2 by 3. There is variation, so 5 by 2 by 1.5 or 4 by 3 by 1.5, for example, are measurements that may be within normal limits. The ovaries are about 1 cubic centimeter in young girls, gradually increasing in size as puberty approaches. In menopausal women, the size of the ovary gradually decreases. So a menstrual bladder has reflux through the fallopian tubes and fluids related to ovulation. So menstrual bladder has reflux through the fallopian tubes and fluids related to ovulation or rupture cysts settle in it. So the pouch of Douglas, after a ruptured follicle, there's free fluid in it, normally in the posterior pouch of Douglas. So likewise, blood from a ruptured ectopic pregnancy, inflammatory debris from pelvic or appendiceal infection, anxiety due to malignancy, liver or cardiac failure may also collect there. So you can see, so sometimes you see free fluid between the liver and the kidney. That's a Morrison's pouch. So when there's a ruptured ectopic pregnancy, you see much fluid in the pouch of Douglas. And so when there's an appendiceal infection or ascites, you see free fluid collected there. So it depends on the state of the case or the emergency that is brought to the department. The next is looking at, we are going to look at the tumors and their appearances on sonography. These images are different from each other. You have the complex, normal, the moderate, severe, and the complex one. So we are going to look at these tumors that are found on this page. So this here is talking about the tumor volume. So if you measure this tumor, the volume is less than 10 cubic centimeters. So it means this is research by Kentucky Morphology Index Scoring System that ovarian tumors are in different ranges. So the score 1 has a complex one. These are chocolate cysts in the ovaries, or they are also called endometriomas. So So these are endometriomas found in the ovary. It makes the ovary very complex, and it can also easily prevent one from menstruating because there's no development of follicles. So it becomes a mass. And the second finding is about 100 cubic centimeters. So this is multiple cystic lesions in the ovary with septations. This is not polycystic, but these are hyperstimulations of the hormone that are affecting the ovaries. So you can see multiple cystic lesions in the ovaries. They are septation, fine septation. Some are multiple, some are even two in the ovary. Then you can have these papillary projections seen in the ovary with those patients who are having hemorrhagic ovarian cysts. So when there's a bleeding in the ovary, you see these papillary projections in the ovary, and they are very glaring, very clear. So that is what we are talking about here. So this is also another complex one that they rated it. So from there it comes to more than 500 cubic centimeters. That is so many complex abnormalities of the ovary, and which need to be taken care of. So here this is a dermoid. A dermoid is a teeth-like or it's a hair-like structure in the ovary that produces posterior costal shadow. You can see other fluid around it. So this is a typical example of a dermoid cyst. Okay, so let's also look at the ovary, the uterus here. This is a transabdominal image of the uterus and the bladder. So you can see the borders surrounding the uterus is called the perimetrium. Of the fundus here, the serosa, the corpus or the body of the uterus, the same here as here. So the opposite side is also the same thing. You have the posterior and the anterior myometrium where fibroids normally occur. So fibroids can occur in the myometrium, elevating the uterus. So when there's a fibroid elevating the endometrium is the submucous fibroid. A fibroid just in the myometrium, not elevating the endometrium or also the perimetrium or the border of the uterus is intramural. So a fibroid that is elevating the perimetrium to the uterus is a subserosa. So the one that also raises or develops in the peritoneum connected to the ovary is also a pendaculated fiber. So fibers come in their various ways and their locations and their appearances. So these are basic nomenclatures or terms that are used to describe the uterus and where masses normally are formed. So this is the endometrium where the implantation takes place. Here's the implantation site. The endometrium runs through from the cervix through to the fundus connected to the ovary here, to the ovary and the fallopian tube. Good. So this is the bladder. So you can see a normal wall of the bladder. The normal wall of the bladder normally is measured 3 millimeters. So you measure this from here, it will give you 3 millimeters. 3 millimeters. So this 3 millimeters of the wall of the bladder. So that is basic anatomy of the uterus. So this is another sonographic uterus of a transvaginal image. So what we saw in the transabdominal image of the uterus sonographically is the same thing we are seeing in transvaginal image of the uterus. So you can see the myometrium, endometrium, uterine fundus, arcuate vessel. You have the loose of bowel posterior to the womb, and these are normal phenomenon. You can say uterine body, that's a corpus, or yes, the cervix, and the myometer, anterior posterior myometer. So this is a normal phenomenon of the uterus, and it is clear. So this is not a retained product of consumption, as others may write in their reports, which is not true. So this is a normal endometrium. So you can see this will be in the proliferative phase. So it's where it's thickened. These are sizes of uterus and in different stages in life. We have the adults, and we have adults, those who have not gotten pregnant before, and also those who have gotten pregnant before. So nulliparous and the parous uterus. We also look at the postmenopausal uterus, the length, the width, and the height, or the anterior posterior size dimension. And that's the volume of it, and the ratio is cervix corpus ratio. So the corpus and the cervix ratio. So between the corpus and the cervix, that's the isthmus. So you can see that's the isthmus. So you can see the corpus, the body, and the cervix. The body and the cervix. Between the body and the cervix is the isthmus. So that's what the term is. 1:2, 1:2, 1:1. So that is what we are going to talk about now. So the length of the uterus for a nulliparous uterus is 8 by 5 by 5. Normally some books also says 3 by 5, or other books also say that 9 by 3 by 5, or the other books also talks about a parous uterus. It means that uterus has carried a baby before, has delivered severally, once, twice, or 3 times, and automatically the size of that ovary will be bigger than a nulliparous uterus that has not carried a baby before, if there are no masses in the uterus. So you can see this from the infant stage to the adolescent stage, and to teen stage, and to adult stage. So these are stages of the uterus with their growth stretches. So from the postmenopausal womb, that is when the womb becomes atrophic. So this when this womb becomes atrophic, so this womb becomes atrophic. So this atrophic uterus becomes smaller as compared to maybe an adolescent uterus or a teen's uterus. So and the volume as compared to a multiparous uterus is less than that, and also the nulliparous uterus normal phenomenon. This is measurement of the uterus. The measurement of the uterus is done in a special way that gives you accurate dimensions. If the uterus is not well measured, you can measure it though, but it will not give you the accurate volume, the accurate dimensions. This uterus is not well measured. No, I pay this from the line. So this measure this way. This is better. This measurement is better. So you measure this way. Yes, this way is better, and that's way. And the transverse view. So you measure the width. This from here anterior posterior dimension, the length of it. So to give you the volume. So assuming this is the size of the uterus we're talking about. So remember that it says 9 by 3 by 5.5. So you put all this into a calculator, you find the volume of it. So to find the volume of the size of the uterus, so you multiply this 9 by 3 by 5.5 by 5 by 0 0.523. So this will give you a normal volume of the uterus that falls within this volume. Yeah. So when you do this, you are going to get the normal volume of that. So the size of the uterus will always depend on the reproductive age of the patient. Yes, gravid or non-gravid. A gravid or multifarious uterus will measure mostly more than a nulliparous uterus if there are no nodular masses. So you can see, so that is a transabdominal image of the uterus. So this is the measurement. So normally when a probe is turned transverse in the transverse view, you may see both ovaries, which may appear normal. So normally for those who have normal ovaries. Then the next is the further evaluation of the uterus with their measurement. So this is the bladder. So here is the urinary bladder. So the uterus is here, the cervix, the vaginal canal. So this is the bladder. So this is the right ovary. The right ovary is here. So the uterus is here. This is the left ovary. The left ovary is here. So they are showing normal follicles at the cortex. So you can see this a maturing follicle, or a dominant follicle, or a Gravian follicle. So you can also see other follicles at the cortex. So this shows a normal phenomenon of functional follicle. So they are not abnormal ovarian cysts. They are normal ovarian cysts. Then let's also look at some developmental variants of uterus. This uterus, some can conceive and some cannot. Those who have single left ovary, or maybe both ovaries with 2 cervixes, find it difficult to get pregnant. But with those who have 1 vagina but 2 cervixes, will have a problem of conception. So these are sonographic examples of images showing this phenomenon. So this one you can see typical example of this, which is the cervical variant of the uterus. So you can see it here, what we term as funda, tuber, funda, or combined. So here there's no cavity, no endometrium, no horn. So there's only right horn, no left horn of the fallopian tube. So this uterus also, so this one is a combined one, apoplasia or agenesis of other parts of the uterus. So we can have, so this acquaints uterus, and is partial septate uterus. This is partial septate uterus, and this biconvex uterus. So this biconvex uterus, this partial septate, and this also the diaphysis uterus. So you have further ones here showing this the diaphysis and biconvex, 2 endometriums. You can see 2 endometriums here, depicting a typical example abnormal variants of the developmental variants of the uterus. We can also see another one here showing the variances. So these are other ones. So you can see this uterus has 2 endometriums. This has there's no pregnancy in this one, but there's a pregnancy in this one. So here there's no pregnancy, but there's a pregnancy in this one, showing a normal gestational sac with normal decidual reaction, no subchorionic hematoma or hemorrhage, and you can see a normal decidual paritalis running around the endometrium. So you can see the right horn of the endometrium, the left one is carrying a baby. So it's another one here. There's a baby in the right horn, the left one has no baby. So we are done with the ovaries and the uterus. Let's look at the anatomy of the fallopian tube. So the fallopian tube is a vessel where pregnancy normally occurs. So about 99% of pregnancies occur, ectopic pregnancies occur in the fallopian tube, specifically at the ampulla. So the ampulla is here. So this is the ampulla here. So the ampulla is where it is undulated. You can see lobulation on the wall. So that's here, this part of the fallopian tube is the ampulla. That's the ampulla here. That's the ampulla here. And this is the mesovarium. This is the mesovarium, this mesosalpinx. So this is the mesovarium. And here is the broad ligament. So the broad ligament is here. That's the fundus of this. So this is a clear cross section of the uterus. So you can see the endometrium flowing into the fallopian tube. So you can see that's why if there's any infection from the cervix, from the vagina into the cervix, it goes through the endometrium and into the fallopian tube. So you can see the ovarian ligament also connected to the fundus, the junction of the beginning of the fallopian tube, which is this junction here, which is the isthmus or the interstitial. So the isthmus, the corpus, the interstitial. So that's the interstitial or the conua. The interstitial or the conua. The conua. So the interstitial or the conua, that's where it is located. So uterine cavity, endometrium, the cervix, and the vaginal canal. So this blood supply to the myometrium to the endometrium. So you can see the ovary here, with the fallopian tube having a finger-like structure in which the egg passes through. So during ovulation, when the egg is released, the egg goes through the fallopian tube, through into the ampulla. So into the ampulla, and this is the place where fertilization takes place. So the sperm from through the cervix, through the endometrium, goes into the ampulla and fertilizes with the egg there. So this is a couple system after an egg is released. So this a released egg, a released ovum or oocyte that goes through. So this will go through like that. So this is where, so this the egg here, the sperm is here. So there's going to be a fusion here. So S and O, as the ovum, becomes a zygote. So here you get a zygote. So the zygote is here. So you get a zygote. So the next is the uterine tube, the detailed anatomy of it, the uterine tube with the ovaries also. So we are going to look at the characteristics of the fallopian tube. It is 10 centimeters long. It is enclosed in the broad ligament of uterus. So this is the broad ligament of the uterus. So here, the broad ligament here of the uterus. So we have, it is divided into two intramural parts, that's opening into the uterine wall. So here, it's talking about this, the conum or the interstitial, the isthmus, narrowest part of it. So just after the interstitial, the next is the isthmus. So after isthmus, you have ampulla, the widest part, site of fertilization here. So from after the ampulla, you go to infundibulum. The infundibulum is the back of the finger, like our normal finger. You can see the back of it. So this is the back of the fallopian tube, which is called the infundibulum. But the finger-like structure here is what we call the fimbriae. So this fimbriae of the fallopian tube that takes the ruptured egg through the tube to meet the sperm. So we are looking, so this what is defined here. So you can see the corpus albicans after corpus luteum is shrinked. So this ligament of the ovary through which blood flows to the ovary from the artery flows to the ovary. And is the body of the uterus. We have the corpus luteum, corpus albicans, the fimbriae, the folds of uterine tube. So you can see this is how the fallopian tube is. But you can never see this on ultrasound as we are seeing it here. You only see a tube running always anterior to the ovary, whether it's left ovary or the right ovary. So these are typical examples of ovaries that are abnormal and fallopian tubes that are also abnormal. So, but let's look at the fallopian tube. This is a fallopian that is filled with fluid. So the diseases of the fallopian tube are either a blood is filled in or a fluid, a pus is filled in the fallopian tube. So you can see always, as I said, always the fallopian tube is always anterior to the ovary. So this is the right ovary. You can see the fallopian tube here. You can see the interstitial or the intramural part of the fallopian tube attached to the uterus. So this is the ovary too. You can see the ligament also here. So you can see the ligament here, and that's the intramural part of the fallopian tube. So you can see this is the fallopian tube filled with fluid. So this can be hydrosalpinx or hematosalpinx. So this is another one. So they are always showing like a beast, a ring of beasts. You can see these are beast-like structure, like beads on, like beads arranged on a string. So this is another typical example of a fallopian tube that is filled with fluid here. So you can see it's floating in it. So this is another one. So this is an ascites with the fallopian tube floating in it, showing the fimbriae, the finger-like structures, which is the fimbriae. So this is the fundibulum here, and that is the ampulla somewhere here. So from ovulation to implantation, so you can see this is how a pregnancy occurs. Just after a pregnancy occurs, after fertilization, the cleavage, after the cleavage here. So an egg is taken from the ovary after ovulation or after ruptured follicle. An egg is released here. So this is a coronal radiator. The outer wall of the egg is the ovulated ovum. So you can see it's traveling gradually. And so this normally, so this is the egg cell nucleus. So there will go to be the zygote. There's going to be a cleavage, and the cleavage, the divisions, separation of the eggs. So this normally occurs when a twin is about to occur. So one egg can produce two, or you can see two separate eggs or zygotes. So when one zygote divides into two, it becomes when two zygotes are separated, they are fraternal. And when one zygote separates into two, this becomes identical twins. So these identical twins share the same blood and do so many things in common. Likewise, the fraternal twins. So sometimes when there's no separation, then they come as a one blastocyst. So the blastocyst is the sac that comes into the uterus before the baby develops. So normally the embryo is attached to the wall of that blastocyst, and what appears mostly first is the yolk sac. So the yolk sac will normally appear before the baby. So always the baby is attached to the yolk sac, to the yolk sac. So this is the gestational sac. This is the gestational sac here, and you can see the yolk sac well defined here. And just attached to the yolk sac, you see a baby developing there. So that is the embryo. Okay, so and that's a yolk sac. So this is the gestational sac. Good. So this is just simple explanation to the movement of an egg and a zygote into the womb. So when there's any blockage in the fallopian tube, or where there's no proper transmission, so the zygote remains on the way and does not enter into the womb. So this becomes ectopic pregnancy. Now, then the next we are going to talk about is the early pregnancy indications on ultrasound. So this is normal anatomy of how an early pregnancy looks like on a normal ultrasound image. So you can see the pseudo basalis, parietalis. So these parietalis normally appear behind the sac. So sometimes people will see it to be a subchorionic hematoma or hemorrhage. So hematoma, that's not hematoma, it's a normal phenomenon that appears during an early pregnancy. So we have chorionic cavity, amniotic cavity, the pseudo capsularis, the pseudo chorion live, and the yolk sac. So these are all there. So normally the chorion larvae and the pseudo basalis come together to form the placenta. So with that, two layers are found around the gestational sac. We have the pseudo capsularis and the pseudo vera. So this is a typical example of an early pregnancy. This is the bladder here. This is the uterus here, showing an early gestational sac also here. So this is the sac here. So this is an early pregnancy of almost 5 weeks. So this is also normal phenomenon of an early pregnancy. Okay, so that is what we are going to talk about. So we are going further to look at further indications of early pregnancies. So this is a normal pregnancy showing a normal embryo with the yolk sac here. So this yolk sac is a new one. So this is diminishing because the embryo is growing. Now, so subscribe to my channel and click on like to like my videos. Thank you and God bless you.